Hello everyone and welcome to Longer and Harder, the show on the internet where we take a subject and we go deeper. How are you all doing today? Sorry about the camera. Sorry about everything. If you are not from right now, you probably know that we just had a stream and then it just died. It just died. I'm sorry. So hopefully people will manage to make their way over from that last debacle onto this stream. But how are you all doing today? Hello, I see Jello and Christ Puncher and WF6I and Evan Williams and Luke, I think I saw in there, and Microblog. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful Sunday afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is. Happy Pride Month. Just gonna throw that out there so you all know it is a thing. It's a thing where you're nice to people who are different than you. So, you know, be that. Hello, everyone. Hello, Tech God. How are you? Good morning for you. Well, there you go. So yeah, we're here hanging out on Sunday afternoon. We got a show. I thought I had like a good show for you, but that's a lie. All right. So with that said, we'll move right into things. There's no wife today, so we might be able to go a little bit longer and a little bit harder than usual. So that might be fun. She's getting a haircut and whatnot, so we'll let her do that. There are cats around somewhere. They keep kind of darting in and out. I did see that it's kind of hot for a lot of people in a lot of places around the world. I am sorry to hear that. It's kind of nice here. I think it's like a solid 80 degrees out. It's gorgeous. I have the window open. It's super nice here, and I love it. Hello, Awkward Pasta. I gotta fix things for you here as well. Oh man, so bad alcohol choices. I did make some bad alcohol choices. Last night. I'm gonna make some more today. I went to this bar that's like right across the street from work, and oh, there's such good beer and a lot of wine. Oh goodness, my wife was regretting her decisions a whole lot more than I was, but we'll live. We're here. So yes, housekeeping, real quick stuff that I have. I do have one question for everyone, so hopefully we'll be able to get to it, soon. But for now, housekeeping, as you can see, did I get it right? Nope. Messed it up every time. As you can see, our experience bar is up to 85%. Thank you very much for all the donors. Big thank you for #Heathen who had a super chat last week. And thank you everyone who donates and patrons. It's around that time of the month where patrons put in their little bit, which I love. Always grateful for all your support, patrons. A couple of them in the chat. You guys are awesome and you know it. So thank you very much. And we're getting super close to our computer. 85% is really great and really close by. So if you'd like to donate, there's a upside down I donate. If you'd like to super chat, you get free boobs. I answer super chats. And also things and stuff. Also, oh yeah, that's the other thing. If you do donate and or super chat, I put in the exact same amount you do so that we can get ourselves a little bit closer. So we're working on this together and we are really close. Have you tried? Those aren't real letters. Frunklosh. I think they had one. Was that on the list? I sent out a list. Was that on the list? There was a list of beers, mostly in letters that aren't real, that I couldn't read or pronounce. I just had the bartender, I was like, hey, give me something dark in German, and he did, and it was delicious. Whatever it is he gave me was fantastic. I think we narrowed it down to a Premium Dunkelweiser? I don't know. Gio told me. I can't pronounce it though. So I think that's what we narrowed it down to. It was dark and delicious and fantastic. I'm gonna have to go back to that place. They had a lot of beers, obviously. If you saw me tweet about it, they had a lot of beers. Some light beers too, which I'd be interested in trying. They had a Pseudo Zoo, which is a beer that I already reviewed on the show, on tap, and it was on tap. That beer is just it's an IPA and so damn good. Untapped, it was just delicious, nice and crisp and floral. Oh, so good. But then I moved on to some dark beers, so that was a mistake. Don't move on to dark beers. It's kind of the moral of the story. But we did, and it was great. I had a lot of fun. It was from the top. Okay, I'll have to do the thing. I'll have to go back and see what we got there. So yes, so that's a bit of housekeeping. The other bit of housekeeping, I am gonna try to do the. Oh, there's a thing. There's lots of things. So many things. I am gonna try to do this because I said I would. And I'm trying to be less of a lying lying YouTuber. But I'm gonna try to get some of these episodes up on the Spotify, not the Spotify. Is it Spotify, the Apple's Musics, the podcast. We're gonna try to make more podcasty like things. Hopefully, Cloudbot has shown up in the chat here soon because we do need it. And another thing with Cloudbot, there's, I don't know, potentially loyalty points by Cloudbot now. So if you say things, you can buy things. I don't know. We're gonna work it out. It's a process. We're gonna see what we can do with it. It'd be fun. So we'll see what we can do with that. So yeah, so those two things, and then the last thing. So the setup for this channel has mostly been I let you all pick a topic or a video, and we talk about that for the whole time. But I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 there weren't like patron streams. The last one was a patron stream, but the 2 or 3 before that, we kind of talked about one video and then moved on to another one. And so I'm wondering if we want to keep the same style of like picking one video and sticking to it, or if we want to just do more like, hey, let's pick a bunch of things to talk about and talk about those things. Maybe multiple videos. I know people kind of get bored, and some of the videos get boring real quick. So it would be a whole lot more effort on my part to get things ready. But like actually pick like either clips or just have multiple videos, and we could still pick like the one that we start with, but actually kind of jump around to other videos and talk about multiple things. Or are we okay with just talking about one subject and then getting derailed into other subjects? So you all tell me what you want to do with that, and if you'd be interested in that. How about just a longer stream? We could also do that. I mean, I've been setting the cap at 2 hours. I don't mind going longer and harder. It's I don't remember why I set the cap at 2 hours. I just kind of, it's a thing that got set, and that's where we ended. So okay, let it happen organically. No need to be beyond your list of 7. Okay. That's a good one. Just it happens that we talk about multiple things anyway. People bring up other subjects that aren't related to the video, and we just kind of derail, and that's fine. Thank you, awkward pasta. That's just what happens, right? So it's fine. If we want to keep it organic and we just get derailed, that's fine too. And we can, sometimes we do switch videos anyway because we get super bored with some of these. So all the things, I'll keep these in mind. Thank you very much for your input, everyone. With that said, I think that's all the housekeeping. Yes, thank you everyone for donating. We're really close. All the things and stuff. With that done, we have our beer of the week, and I'm so excited about this beer of the week. So, story time-ish. Well, you might have noticed the story time-ish from the last stream if you watched it. That I was kind of very hungover because I spent a weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they have a lot of breweries. This is from one of those breweries, and this beer. It's not even like a mystery to me what this beer is. This beer is delicious. Like, I'm already gonna tell you, this beer, 9 out of 10. Fantastic beer, fantastic brewery. They had a beer that tops this one, but they don't sell it in growlers, so I couldn't buy it to bring it back. I'd have to they make a very limited amount, so I think they bottle a few for certain club members, and then you can buy it on tap, and that's it. But it was a barrel-aged beer, and oh, was it fantastic. That one was trouble. That one was so much trouble. I loved it, but it's so much trouble. This is kind of the second best, but we'll go with it because it's still really delicious. And I have a growler, and it doesn't quite look like a growler there, so I'm going to have to show it to you how just this thing, and I'll make all the jokes because this thing's fucking, look at how big this is. This thing's amazing. Look at how large this is. This is a lot of beer. We might die today. 9 out of cells Kendrick. Oh, look, we do have Cloudbot is here. Thank you, Cloudbot, for being here. Didn't mention my name. I didn't factard. I didn't. Now I have. It's only about an inch tall. So this thing is huge. I love it. We're gonna try to. God, if I try to drink this all in a stream, we're gonna die. And by we, I mean me. I'm gonna die. Gosh darn. Okay, I can't even open it. Oh, I gotta read the description. Okay, I'm so excited I can't even talk. Beer of the week is You Snooze, You Lose. Fantastic name. Also, all of their names were great. I love this brewery. It was, God, it was so much fun. I love this brewery so much. I wish it was closer because I would go there. I would go there all the time, and that's actually a problem. It is a double milk coffee stout by Boiler Brewing Company in Lincoln, Nebraska. Great place. Go if you are anywhere in Lincoln, Nebraska. Go to it. It's fantastic. 8% alcohol per volume thing. And the description given by the company is: don't miss the boat, don't miss the train, don't hit the snooze button again, get up and get ready to get down. Guys, describe the beer. With this double milk coffee stout from sunup to sundown, fruity, what is this word? Fruity Yergashif coffee, doses this stout with creamy lactose sweetness that rounds it all out. This beer will get you out of bed and also sing you to sleep. That I will. One smooth operator, have a sip, you'll see. That's a bit of a description there. Okay. Oh, this beer is amazing. I am very, very excited. Oh, get off. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, look at that. No, I did a terrible job at pouring this beer. It's very foamy. I suck. But look at that. Look at how dark that is. This is a terrible pour, by the way. Don't pour beer like already. But look at how dark. This beer. It is good. Like I said, I don't even have to taste it. I know it's good. Rhetoric&Discourse, hey man, this is the first foray into your live stream. Well, thank you, Mr. Drunk Monkey Man. How are you? I'm gonna try to read that one. Jut Monkey the Drunk Monkey. Oh, Jump Monk the Drunk. Oh god, that is really hard to read for English words. That is really hard to read. Welcome to the stream. We pick nonsense to talk about and drink beer. It's great. I am gonna be. Yeah, that was really bad. I got too excited. I'm sorry. I got way too excited about that beer. Okay. Next thing. So that's the beer. It's delicious. I don't have to taste it because I know it's great. And that's why I bought it. So buy it if you're anywhere near there. Okay. So next things next. Here's our video menu for the day. And hopefully Cloudbot will get that poll started for you. Our options for today are The Truman Show by ODD-TV, Debunking Flat Earth by Rob Skibba, AOC by David Icke, and that's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Alpha Males by Joe Rogan, How to Write a Myth by Owen Benjamin, Is Porn a Sin by Covenant Eyes, and the one. God, I forgot to warn you all. The Mistakes of Many by Rationality Rules. Cause he's still talking. So if you guys, it's up to you guys. Probably not up to you guys. I'm probably gonna make a video on it, regardless of what you all say. So it's gonna happen. But I figured I'd give you a little. I have like most of the script written, so not gonna pretend I don't want to talk about it because I do. It's bad. It's actually not that bad. I shouldn't say it's still bad. For people who need context, because, you know, things. In case you don't know, this has been a thing that I've been talking about for like 2 months. Month and a half has been Rationality Rules has been like the topic that has been talked about the most ever. And he made his first video, which was awful. And the video itself, and I feel like I have to point this out every time I say this. The video that Rationality Rules put out was very transphobic, and people called him out on that. No straw poll. There shouldn't be a straw poll. You should be able to vote. You should be able to vote by doing. I should have given instructions on how to vote. There is no straw poll anymore. You just vote in the chat. You do upside down I. Vote and then the number you'd like. And the chat will take care of it. There's a little bot in here who will take care of all that for you. So that you don't have to go to an external link anymore. You should be able to vote just in the chat itself. With that, okay. So we did that thing. What was it? Yeah. So he made one video. It was hugely transphobic and awful. He made another video, complaining about people calling him transphobic, even though not as far as I know. People were actually calling him transphobic. People were calling his video transphobic, but he has a hard time separating the two. And that was kind of awful too. And then he made an apology video, which I think is awful, but it's not an apology to me, so, you know, take that for what it is, because, you know, he's not apologizing to me. He's apologizing to other people, and he's allowed to, you know, other people can take that as they please. Now he's finally come out with his I'm going to correct the mistakes that I've made video, and it's pretty bad. It's not as bad as his first video, or what he's done since, but it's still kind of, yeah, it's still kind of cringy. So that's a thing. So yeah, if you want to talk about that, we can. It doesn't look like a whole lot of people want to though, so that's fine too. We don't have to. We will later anyway. That's just how this is gonna go. It looks like right now, number 2 and number 6 are tied. So if you haven't voted, now would be a good time to vote, because those are the two that are they're kind of the ones that are really close. So Debunking Flat Earth by Rob Skibba and Is Porn a Sin? Ooh, are the two that are tied. So if you haven't voted yet, now is the time to do that. So that you can untie this thing. And so if you just showed up, just do upside down eye, vote, and then the number you want to vote for, and that's the video we'll talk about for the rest of the time. You got about a minute and some to vote for what you'd like to talk about. And I'm gonna take a quick sip of this beer. Oh God, it smells so good. Brings back memories. Oh, the beer is so smooth. So smooth. It really is like. It really is tastes like I'm drinking a really good cup of coffee that tastes like beer. This beer tastes like coffee that tastes like beer, if that makes any amount of sense. Look, it's gotten pretty good. I did abuse this beer, but oh, that is so delicious. That is the best. Please go ahead. So we got about 30 seconds and the poll's gonna close, and then we're gonna see what we get with that. Just a quick reminder, if you'd like to help out the show, you can always donate using upside down eye donate, and that'll take your Streamlabs. If you'd like to do a super chat, you can do a super chat, and those also help out the show, mostly to get a new computer so that we are less laggy, and we can get things done a little bit quicker, because this computer is very old and needs replacing. So that's what we're going to, and we're really, really close to getting there. So if you want to help out, that's the best way to do it. You get free boobs for doing so, and I put in just the same amount of as you did. You can no longer vote. We are gonna see what the results are, and the results are the poll has resulted in a tie. Shit. 2 and 6. We rarely, if ever, have a tie. Why don't we do a tiebreaker? We'll have Google flip a coin for us. We'll have Google flip a coin or do something here for us. And then I will probably talk about both. How about that? We'll talk about both. We're gonna start with one. We're gonna start with one of them, and then when we get bored, we'll move on to the other one. So we'll do it that way. We'll let Google kind of decide for us here. We'll do heads for flat Earth, and we'll do tails for porn. That could have gone either way, and it would have been a fine joke. So heads flat Earth, tails porn. Hey Google, flip a coin. It landed on tails, which means we're gonna start off with porn. All right. So we got. Oh, I didn't open up VLC like a nice professional that I am. So we're gonna start out with porn today. Isn't that fantastic? What a time to be alive when porn is the thing that we talk about. Okay, so we'll get you over here. Okay. So is pornography sinful is the full name of the video. It is by a YouTube channel called Covenant Eyes, and it looks like we got some feature people here to tell us all about it. So, whoops, let's get that to roll in here. Bam, bam. Nope, that didn't do what I wanted it to do at all. Why would you do that to me? There we go. Featuring Father Sean Kilcawley. Is pornography kill? I can't say one. I use VLC for all YouTube videos I save. VLC is very good. I've been using it a lot more for watching YouTube videos that I download, because I have to watch a lot of videos all the time, over and over again. The internet is for porn. It's true. That's all it's for. Porn and racism apparently are the two things that the internet is good for. Oh, goodness. By the way, speaking of which, because I wanted to talk about it and you all didn't let me by not voting on it, but I did because I want to talk about rationality rules this video, which probably is going to get a video made for it. But if you would like to have a group of people who are far more entertaining and much more knowledgeable on the subject than I am, Callan, if you want to put a link into your into the chat for your video, your stream on it, Callan got a whole group of people together to talk about it, and they did a really fantastic job, which was, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching. Gonna warn you, there's a bit of audio issues at first, so watch it if you're listening with headphones, because the audio levels aren't quite right, and some things are kind of loud, some things are kind of quiet, but they fix it real quick, so that's like the only thing that's off about the stream. But they had a wonderful stream, really good insight on a lot of the things that deserve to be said. So definitely go watch that if you want to watch a very intelligent group of people actually go through the whole video. I probably won't go through the whole video in the video that I make anyway, because that's not what I do. So yeah, go check out. Hopefully Callan will put in a whatchamacallit, a link in the chat for you, and I will try to put one in the description for those of you watching in the future. But go check that out. Okay, so we got today, Covenant Eyes presents Is Pornography a Sin?
Hi, I'm Ron D. Haas, the president of Covenant Eyes, and I'm here with Father Sean Kilcawley, who is the director of Family Life and Evangelization at the Lincoln Diocese. Father Sean, welcome to Covenant Eyes. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Ron. It's great to be here, and I want to also thank you for all that you do here at Covenant Eyes to help protect families.
I appreciate that. It's a very serious mission. But I have a question for you.
Oh, no. Have you guys seen, who is it? Fuck, one of the mega church peoples, in the U.S. got, somebody, like a reporter, went up to him and was like, hey, people are like, hey, you're a bit of a hypocrite because you're not a bit of a hypocrite, but people think that you're a bit of a hypocrite because you own a giant, private jet to fly around the country, using money that's donated rather than, doing good with that money. And you said things about like, you don't like to fly in coach because that's a bunch of demons in there or something around the lines. And he loses his shit, and it's hilarious. God, I wish I remember who it was. It was all over the Twitters, and it was hilarious. He just, God, I'm gonna have to look it up. It was on my Twitters, and they are great. They're using the plane for God. Yes, got a Copeland. Was it Copeland? Might have been Copeland. I'm gonna have to look it up on Twitter, but it's a great video because he just loses his shit, and it's fantastic. Might have to find it to play on here because it really is very good.
And it's something that we have talked about before, and that is the issue of what
I thought starving children was a serious issue. I thought so too. It really is the fantastic thing about religion. Callan kind of asked me this at some point or another, whether because I'm an atheist, whether I'm anti-theist, and I kind of sat gave a wishy-washy answer of I'm anti-harm, which is that like in the States, if you live in the U.S., and probably, and I'm sure this is also true in other parts of the world, but I live in the States, so if you live in the States, religion has this crazy hold on what happens in the U.S. And so I don't want to, I'm not anti people who believe in gods or are religious. I'm not anti them, but I'm definitely very much so against the harm that religion does, especially in the U.S. I think there's a Uganda, I think, also has a big problem with Christianity. A really big problem with Christianity. I wanna, what's the name of that documentary? The Thank God for Uganda, I think that's the name of the documentary, that kind of shows a lot of the harm that Christianity has done in Uganda, and it's real bad. It's real bad. And of course you can always look at the harm that Islam does in the Middle East with its crazy religiosity as well. So it's not exclusively a Christian thing, right? So I do see, I do kind of, in that way, would say that I'm an anti-theist. I guess I'm anti-harm is really it. So if you're religious and you're watching this, I'm sorry that if I insult your religion or anything. I'm not anti you. I'm very much so anti the harm that these people do. This ministry, for example, I have no idea what this ministry is, but one of the things that was pointed out in the chat is, starvation is something that's a problem. And I'll bring up another example here in a second. It is kind of a bit of a problem, and you have pastors in megachurches who fly around, drive around the country in these ludicrously expensive cars, fly around the country in private jets, have millions and millions of dollars that gets donated to them, tax-free, by the way, and they don't. The thing that they do to help is that they preach. That's the good that they do, and I'm not okay with that. I'd rather, if you're gonna have people donate that much money to you, use it for something good, right? Use it for honestly helping starving people, one in the US, because there's plenty of those in the US, right? But around the world, if you're gonna actually pretend like they're raising money to help people out, you might as well actually do that. That would be nice. The other example that I know a lot of people got pissy about this is when the Notre Dame Cathedral burst into flames and all that nonsense. There was a whole lot of very rich people who donated to the Catholic Church, pretty much, to have the Notre Dame Cathedral rebuilt. And while on the one hand, donating to have a historic thing preserved is I think a genuinely good idea. On the other hand, this is donating to the Catholic Church, which is worth. They have so much goddamn money. Like, they have so much. They don't need your money. They could do it on their own. Honestly, the Catholic Church is a problem all in of itself, because they do have all the money to be able to restore the Notre Dame Cathedral. They didn't need your help to do that. They didn't need your help, your money to do it. They have the money to do it. So, if you're going to donate, at least donate your money to a cause that isn't going to go to super rich people to not spend their money. If you're going to donate your money, at least donate it to a group of people who actually are going to do something good for it. Habitat for Humanity, always a good cause. What's Doctors Without Borders, always a good cause. Planned Parenthood, always a good cause. If you want to donate to things, those are the kinds of things you should donate to, because they actually do good things with their money, and they're not just gonna keep their money, or they're not just gonna use their money for sorry, Dora, I'll get that. They're not just gonna use their money. Try that again, Dora, I'm really sorry. They're not just going to keep their money so that they don't have to spend their own money to rebuild a church, right? Fellow Pastafarian. Oh, I have a fun story about Pastafarianism. I went to a Pastacon, there we go. A few years ago, and I got to wear a colander on my head the whole time. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Dora, for that link. I'm gonna we'll check it out. There's a good link, guys. Also, Dora, welcome to being a mod. Doesn't do much good besides you get to do things. So, fun fact: Copeland and his daughter made a weird Christian sci-fi kids series that had child soldiers in it. That is weird. Oh God. So yeah. So okay. So with that said, we got way off the rails today. Which is fine. Let's see what these guys have to say about things.
Whether or not pornography is a sin, I have had some experiences in the not too distant past where I've met people young people particularly, who actually don't even recognize that viewing pornography is a sin. And so I wonder if you could address that question.
I mean, obviously it's not a sin, because sin isn't a real thing. Sin is not a real thing. Let's start with that. God, I haven't talked about religion in forever. Sin is not real. We'll start there. There's no such thing as a sin. There's no such thing as, like, these things that you can do. God, this weird things. Also, ideas of sins. Oh, I had this fun, not fun because they're never fun. I had these fun discussions with people in the past about sins, because if you actually read the Bible, the things that are considered sins are things like clothing with mixed fibers, working on Sundays, Saturdays if you're, I guess, Jewish. Those are sins. But things like if you look at like the Ten Commandments, things like rape isn't a sin, really. Like, it's not a good thing for sure in the Bible, but it's definitely not a, hey, you shouldn't do this. It's one of the weird things about Christianity that I don't understand, because you really could, like, right, if you really wanted to, right, if you had the platform that religion has, specifically Christianity in the States, if you had that kind of platform, you could legitimately stop some horrible shit from happening. You could legitimately say, hey, these are the things that are sin, right? And like the two that everyone always points to is like, oh, the Bible says that stealing and murder is bad. It's like, yes, those are two things out of a whole lot of things that people do. And honestly, like rape isn't mentioned ever as a sin, which just baffles me that you wouldn't put that on there. Like, hey, this is not a thing that you should do. People who follow my religion, or, if follow me or whatever, there's a lot of things that could be done. There's a lot better rules that you could done. Actually, the passage is about incest. There's incest is again, not, I don't know if, I'd have to look up. I'm not sure if incest is a sin, but it's definitely not discouraged, if that's the word. And in a lot of ways, it's encouraged. There's Adam and Eve, because just because of the way that it goes, Adam and Eve would, if you start the population with humans with two individuals, incest of some variety has to occur for us to get to more generations. Like, it just has to happen. Same thing with Noah and his there's like 12 people who got saved there. That incest has to happen there. There's also Lot and his daughters. So it's definitely never, as far as I know, and maybe people who have read the Bible more than I have, as far as I know, it's never like outright like, yeah, don't do this. Or maybe it is. I'm trying to remember if there's a story where it is. It's definitely, as far as I can tell, it's not discouraged in the way that it should be. Who was it? Oh shit! I'm trying to remember, because I saw a video as a potential option about this. Now I remember. I don't know if it's on the video menu or if I have it on the debunk, but I did see somebody actually bring this up about incest actually being a good thing, which is weird. And that the reason that people tell you not to sleep with your sister or cousins or whatever is because the Illuminati, Freemasons, whatevers, they're doing it because it creates a good familial bond to sleep with your cousin. And so they want to discourage everyone else from doing it because it's a good thing to be incestuous, so they want to keep it to themselves. It's really weird. It's a really weird video. I should find it, because it is very, very weird video. So I gotta find it one of these days. I might have it saved up and I might try to talk about it more, but God, people are weird. Okay, with that, we are way off the rails. We are on incest. We're talking about porn. We haven't actually got to talk about porn. Is porn a sin? No. Let's go a little bit more here.
So the simple answer is yes, but it would be nice if we could just say yes and be done. I think when we talk about pornography being a sin, there's a couple of different dimensions that we have to kind of spell out. So pornography in general is just the displaying of sexual acts for third parties, captured on video usually today, sometimes magazines, etc. And so we can talk about the production of pornography being sinful.
This is something that I have seen talked about is so and I know where I fall on it, but I understand why people don't necessarily fall on the era. Hello, good day to you. Hello, Fletcher Isle. How are you doing? Why are you in an abandoned warehouse? That's a really good question. Why are you in an abandoned warehouse? That's where they film their porn. a lot of people talk about the harm that pornography has on like actors and actresses, and you know there are a lot of horror stories out there about pornography, and they do exist. I'm not going to pretend like they don't, right? There's definitely been abuses in the porn industry that have led to a lot of women specifically, because you know, being abused, and it's not been a fun time. But at the same time, there's definitely stories and people who thoroughly enjoy their job as in the porn industry. So it's one thing. I don't necessarily, there might be studies on the subject of whether it's actually harmful to the individuals who participate in it. That'd actually be interesting. Might have to look into it. Yeah, the porn is awful if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, so I mean, there's people who have had bad experiences, and I don't want to say like everybody has bad experiences at jobs, right? But at the end of the day, it's a job. The problem is that the abuses that happen in the porn industry tend to be a whole lot more egregious than, you know, your supervisor at McDonald's being a jackass, right? It's at a different level. It's not quite the same, but so there's definitely bad things that happen in the industry. I don't know if you can necessarily say that because of some bad things, the whole industry is bad. I really do wish that we could. One of the things is we should be protecting the people who are in the industry a whole lot more, and that'd be nice. Or just ask me and I can pull studies for it. Yeah, if you want to pull studies, if anyone wants to pull studies, go for it. It takes me time to do it. Not that I don't find them interesting, but if anyone wants to pull up studies on it, you know, go ahead. I'd really actually now that I think about it, I'd like to know what the what the peer-reviewed literature has to say on the well-being of people who are actually participate in pornography versus not versus, but what their well-being does, you know, as they participate in it. That'd be interesting. I don't know. I want to say that right now. I want to say I don't know if it is harmful or not to people who participate, because all I have is anecdotes of some porn stars who like it a whole lot and some who don't. There's definitely been some who've come out and said, "Hey, the porn industry is awful," and I can entirely see that because, again, all jobs are awful, and I could see the abuses happening. Not to dismiss their experiences, but you know, abuses happen in all industries and not just pornography. This isn't like exclusively a pornography problem, as far as I can tell. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone will pull a study and prove me wrong. That'd be great. It's great when people claim that the big horrors of sex work are the definition of having a job. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a study on it soon. Maybe, who knows? I'll try to maybe pull one up during the break. Okay, we'll go a little bit here,
because it takes like that most intimate moment that God created to bind a man and a woman together in order to be his collaborators in creating new life, and then turn.
This entirely has nothing to do with, well, sort of. Hello, Mrs. Snarky, how are you? This kind of has something to do with with things. One of the things that I always found interesting, now kind of, you know, God kind of got, you know, people together or whatnots. One of the things that I always find excruciatingly interesting about that, and I didn't have a very religious wedding. I had a very secular wedding, but I went to a couple of my friends got married the same year that I did, and a couple of them had you know, been more religious weddings than I did. And one of the things that I found kind of like disturbing, actually I went to one not too long ago, and I find disturbing, and if you don't, that's fine, but I find it kind of disturbing, is this idea that like a wedding, like a marriage is between a man and a woman, because you know, because gay people don't deserve to get married, apparently. It's between a man and a woman and God, which I find creepy. That makes me feel icky that there's a third party who is kind of just watching. I don't like it. It's why I don't like Paul and Morgan and the way they talk about things. It gives me the willies, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not okay. Okay. The Holy Trinity. No! Don't say that. I did. Oh, goodness. That's a good one. You get, like, extra points for that. Oh, goodness. You fucking hate Paul and Morgan are just the worst. Paul and Morgan are terrible. I don't want to say they're terrible human beings, but sometimes I feel like they're terrible human beings. I did thoroughly enjoy the last video on birth control with them. I think, gosh, they're a hoot. All right.
Turns it into something that's just there for visual entertainment. So the production of pornography is sinful. The participation in making pornography is also sinful because it's taking your body and basically turning it into a commodity for other people to consume.
Turning your body into a commodity for other people to consume is like the most basic part of capitalism. Like, not gonna lie, that's pretty much any job that you can think of besides a few is putting your body and making it a commodity for other people to consume. That's more or less how that works, right? If you're a football player, for example, football players I think are a great example of this, that American pastime, right? That football players like absolutely ruin their bodies. A lot of athletes do. Absolutely ruin their bodies to entertain you, to play a sport. Like, there's a reason that you don't have a lot of older football players, and it's because like after your 20s, your body is just it gets wrecked. It gets wrecked from getting hit all the time, from constantly exercising at that level. You are in a way selling your body for money to entertain others. So I don't understand how this is any different. Like, I understand there's sort of a bit of a gap between like people actually, even then, like, people aren't actually using, you know, if you're a porn star, right? The people who are consuming it aren't actually using your body. They're just looking at it, right? They're not actually using your body. Anyone here not a moderator? Nope. Nope. Everyone here is a moderator. We moderate everyone. Everyone makes a moderator. Hello, Patrick. How are you? I don't know how to say your last name. It looks like an A. So, like, it'd be the same thing as, you know, if you're a coal miner, you sacrifice your body for money. Like, you use your money for money. That's what everyone does. That's how manual labor works. It's just, you know, it's just in this one, you're naked. That's kind of the only difference. Say my last name. Have you changed it? Oh, goodness. Okay, we're going to try. We are going to try to say Callan's last name. Getting R&D's attention is a good way to get rent. It really honestly is. Say a funny thing in the chat. Entertain me. Okay, so Callan, gosh. The HJ sound is not a thing that rolls off the tongue naturally. How? Rough sins. I'm gonna go with rough sins on the other one, but the is not that ain't working. Oh, I can't. All right, well, we're getting close to break time, but I don't want to take a break quite yet. So let's listen a little bit more of Pastor Sean Crawley something. Tell us about things.
Now, some people might say, well, that's okay because I consented to doing that. It's my body. I should be able to sell my body if I want to sell my body. But again,
I mean, yes. What is your argument about people using their bodies for what they want to do? That H is silent. The H is silent. Then why is there I suppose. Flattery Skeptic, how are you? Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to come up with a really good argument as to why people shouldn't use their bodies however they want to use their body. Like, I understand. I don't. I do and I don't. I understand why we make sort of some rules and laws about what you're allowed to do with your body, like when it comes to like suicide and like maybe pumping some aggressive drugs into your system. I don't entirely agree. Like, I understand the part of trying to discourage people from doing those things, but at the same time, I don't understand why we, like, there's other options for this, and there's some gray areas. Like, the suicide one has a very big gray area where you have, like, end of life treatment when, which happens a whole lot when, hey, when you get to that point where you're kind of done with life, this, you know, like, you have a terminal disease that's going to slowly kill you. You don't want to be part of it. I understand why we have these laws, you know, discouraging you from taking your own life. But at the same time, at some point, you know, that decision should maybe be yours. Maybe not, you know, trying to, there's other ways, I guess that's really what I'm getting at. There's other ways to discourage people from using their bodies in ways that's going to harm them than just, like, making it illegal. Making it illegal does not necessarily solve the problem. It just kind of puts another problem on top of it. There's definitely other ways to stop people and prevent people from doing harmful things to their bodies that don't include making that act illegal, but could include, you know, helping them, providing services, which is something we are terrible at in the U.S. Fun article that I read about how we're really, really... the penalty for suicide is death. I'm surprised. Not surprised at all. God, I have so many things. I read a fun article. I'm trying to remember what I read. I want to say it was like, Better Homes and Garden. No, probably not Better Homes and Garden. It was some magazine. I read this article about this doctor. She was an anesthesiologist. So she had a doctor, was an anesthesiologist, and she became addicted to opioids. I forget what opioid is used in surgeries for anesthesia, but that was the one. I forget the exact name of it, but that was the one she got addicted to. So she began stealing it from her hospital and was an addict. And then she was caught, you know, by her hospital and whatnots. The thing is, because she's a doctor, and because of the field that she works in and the her status, her privilege of where she is, she got treated. She had treatment, and it turns out that there's actually very good and effective treatments to treat opioid addiction. It just so happens that these treatments are incredibly, incredibly expensive. So most insurance companies aren't going to cover it at all. They're just not going to let you... They're just not going to give you that option. They're going to make you go to the crappier options that are less effective. They're going to make you do that one first. And then if that doesn't work, then they'll maybe, potentially, depending on your insurance, actually let you have the more expensive treatment, which is just a bunch of bullshit. Because we do know and we have a treatment for addiction, but we're not actually willing to give it to people unless they have the right insurance for it, which is just absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, that we would do that to them. There was a point to this. I have lost track. Someone else said something too, and I completely forgot. So yeah. That had something to do with addiction. That had something to do with this video. I forget what it was. Oh, bodily autonomy and whatnots. Oh yeah, because you can putting drugs in yourselves, which is mostly illegal. Also, war on drugs is stupid. We need to stop that nonsense, and that's where it was. We need to stop fucking throwing people in jail who need help, and, you know, maybe providing help rather than just being like, hey, we're gonna shove you into jail and call you a criminal, and then ruin the rest of your life because you were a victim of addiction, which is just terrible. Happy Pride Month. Yes, happy Pride Month. Okay. We'll try a little bit more of this and then move on. Other cat has found a bird outside. I might turn the camera on her if she holds still long enough so you all can check her out rather than me.
Going deeper, a sin isn't just something that offends another person. It's something that hurts us. The murderer, he sins against other people, but by his sin, he turns himself into a murderer.
Okay. So, taking money off victims because they don't fight back. Well, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, I am very curious as to how you're going to say that, pornography hurts the people who watch pornography. It's a bit of a stretch, but I kind of understand why you would say that about... It's very much a stretch, so I can't... No, too much of a stretch. I really want to know how anyone is hurt with pornography, besides the actual victims, right? Like we were talking about earlier, there's actual victims that happen in the industry, there's actual abuse, but the people who aren't actually being abused and are just sort of having a job I'm not sure if it's a good paycheck or not, with a paycheck, how are they being hurt by any of this? Because sex is bad? I'm sure it's because sex is bad.
And he acts against his own dignity. And so the person who produces pornography, or even young people who send inappropriate images of themselves to other people, they're taking...
Inappropriate... trafficking is the biggest problem. There is a big problem with trafficking. And that's definitely not okay. Right? Like, there's so many problems. This is such a bigger, more nuanced issue that Pastor Sean here is going to make it be, right? Because there are definitely issues, and like I said, pornography isn't like any other industry, isn't a perfect industry. There are people who thoroughly enjoy it. There are people who have been abused by it. Trafficking is an issue, and entirely, there are concerns to be had, but the concerns to be had aren't teenagers are watching it. That's not... You are concerned at the wrong part, Pastor Father Sean. That is a wrong place for you to be concerned about these things. You really should look at other places, other parts of the porn industry that actually have harm, and go after those, right? Like, it's not the teenager who sends a nudes to their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, right? That's not the problem here. They're consenting, they're doing it because they consent. But there are sections of the porn industry that are problematic, and those are the parts that you really should actually be targeting. But you're not going to do that, right? You're not actually going to talk about the fact that trafficking exists. And I understand, Ms. Narky, that porn does not equal trafficking, but it's a thing that happens, and it's definitely a problem, and it should be discussed and whatnots, right? There are definitely parts that should be discussed. There's definitely abuses that need to be talked about. There are definitely steps that we can do to help victims of abuse and all that. There's so much that we could do, but instead of targeting those things, instead of targeting the actual problems, you are going to, Father Sean here, you are going to target teenagers who watch it, and you are going to, target teenagers who watch it, and, teenagers who participate, or not teenagers, people who participate in it. That's who you're going to target, and you're going to tell them, no, you are bad people for doing what you want to do with your body. And that's not okay. Speaking, since we're talking about trafficking, we're going to go down that route, I think. I think everything happening between consenting adults should be legal. I'm okay with that. Taking a poop would absolutely nothing to help. Exactly. Like, that's... Oh, cats are having a fight. Hey. No, they're fighting. They're going to fight. With that... So what was I going to say? Okay. So, one of the things that I have... God, it's disgusting. I've recently learned about is how much... child brides are allowed in the U.S., mostly for religious reasons. So if you're going to, if you're really concerned, Father Sean, if you are really concerned about the abuses and the horrible things that happen with sex specifically, right? Sex is bad, right? There are parts, there are things that you should be targeting. This you're gonna sit here and complain about people watching porn, making porn, when there are, in the U.S., places that you can actually marry an underage girl and you can have a child bride, and it's backed up by your religion, right? People are allowed to do it, not for secular reasons, but because your religion allows it. So I wish you would focus on those things, Father Sean. I wish that was your focus, rather than two consenting adults, or however many consenting adults, right? However many consenting adults having sex and getting filmed, and then someone watching it. Because in that situation, no one is being harmed, but you have situations which you're going to turn a blind eye to, where people are actually being harmed. Okay. We're going to watch a little bit more of this before I get real mad at Father Sean here. And then we might switch over to flat Earth nonsense just to give this whole thing a little bit of levity. Woo.
Taking something that is really meant to be a gift that they give exclusively to one person, and then turning it into something for everyone to see.
It's not... Okay. First off, people do their own thing. And if you want to have a monogamous relationship, good on you. You do you, right? No, I have no problem. If you want to have a not monogamous relationship and whatever other, I forget the other names of them. If you want to have another kind of relationship and you have consenting adults participating in it, why do you care? Like, I really want to know why you care, why it affects you. It doesn't, Father Sean. It really, it doesn't matter if you have a married couple or an unmarried couple who are okay with sharing their sexuality with other people. It's got nothing to do with you. And if you want to be a couple who wants to just share their sexuality with each other and you want no one else to participate, fucking good on you too. Like, you are also consenting adults who are allowed to make that decision. There's nothing wrong with that decision any more than there's anything wrong with the decision to participate with other people's, or let them watch, or actually let them participate. Like, these aren't problems that affect you, Father Sean. They're not things that are making the world worse because of it.
And that violates their own integrity. And then a third level is sort of the viewing or consumption of pornography. I think a lot of young people think it's not a sin because, okay, this person chose to be in pornography, and so I'm not sinning against them because they volunteered, and this is just something that's here for me. And they don't recognize that too is something that's violating their own dignity. And it's acting against God's plan for human sexuality.
That's it. That's... I think it's not a sin because it's not a sin. There you go. Yeah, so... Again, there's nothing... You pretty much have said, like, hey... It's... What's... I know that there's either a fallacy or a problem with this. What is it? Euthyphro's dilemma. I think it's Euthyphro's dilemma that talks about this. Whether things are immoral because they're immoral, or are they immoral because God says they're immoral, right? Which is a big problem, especially for you, Mr. Father Sean, because right now you're gonna talk about how your God thinks that pornography is immoral. It's immoral because he thinks it's immoral. That's more or less what you just said. There was a time where your God thought that stoning people when they worked on Saturdays was immoral. Are you gonna back that? Like, you're gonna back that up too, Sean? Are you gonna be okay with that? With just stoning people who decide to pick up sticks? Are you gonna what other fun things did your God deem immoral? Your God deemed immoral that children made fun of one of his prophets and had them mauled by bears, your God seemed to think that that was immoral. Are you gonna be okay with that? Is that really what we're gonna be okay with? I'm also fairly certain, because this is one of the funnest parts of the Bible to quote. Your God thinks that Christmas trees are immoral. You're gonna follow your God on that one too. I get the feeling you're not. The Bible doesn't mention pornography, just like it doesn't mention masturbation. I thought it mentioned something about spilling your seed, which was the closest thing to masturbation, or was that just pulling out? Okay. With that, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to go refill drinks and whatnots. We're going to probably move on, if you guys are okay with that, or we can stick around. It's up to you guys. Move on to Flat Earth nonsense, just to give ourselves variety, and just because both of them won. So, with all of that said, enjoy some fan art. I did add some new fan art by someone. There's some new fan art in there. Enjoy it. Have fun. Enjoy some copyright-free music, and I'll be back in a little bit. All right, everyone, and we're back. There we go. All right. Why is Kashmir naked? I have no idea. Because he's secretly German. That's a very German thing to do, I suppose. All right, so we're back. We can either continue to watch more of this nonsense as if you would like, or we can move on to Flat Earth stuff. It's up to you, chat and things. What would you like to do? While you decide by posting things in the chat for me. Either say move on or keep going, whichever statement suits you best. Let me know. But while we do that, quick reminder of things, because I gotta show myself every once in a while. Big thank you to all my patrons. It is that time of the month where patrons pay me. So a big thank you to you. I know that some of you are in the chat. Ugly German Truth, Luke's Filewalker, Microbloganism, and I think I saw Evan Williams hanging around. Thank you very much for your being patrons. Always appreciated. All of your patron money goes straight into helping. Am I gonna get it right? Probably not. Into helping with the new computer, so I greatly appreciated you helping out. Same thing with any donations and any super chats. They go straight into helping getting a new computer so that this show can be less laggy and maybe perform a little bit better. Maybe we can get our shit together one of these days. So thank you very much, all of you guys, for helping out. If you do decide to want to do a super chat or you want to do a donation, I will match your donation and or super chat, so that we can get closer to our computer fund. The faster the better, because we're real close. 80-some%, right? 85%, 87%, 85% of the way there. We are real close to being able to buy a new computer. So thank you very much. And if you'd like to help out, those are the best way to help out the channel. All right, so almost 86. It's 85.69, which is very appropriate for the topic. Okay, looks like we have quite a few people who would like to move on to some flat earth nonsense, so we can definitely do that. No problem. Mr. Sean, the guy over here, I am sorry, we got tired of your nonsense, so we're just not gonna do that. Where is our video stuff? Can we find it? There it is. Okay, so we are going to do debunking flat earth for dummies. So, if I remember this correctly, and hopefully
I've structured my talk today specifically.
Hopefully everything kind of just lines up perfectly. Perfect. The whole name of the video is called Debunking Flat Earth for Dummies. This is a presentation by Rob Skibba at the last Flat Earth International Conference. I think it's the Flat Earth International Conference in Denver last year. So I think that's what it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a lot louder. Father Sean was a lot quieter than Rob Skibba is. My bad. So we'll go with that. Why did I expect to see 25 videos only titled number 1 and not number 25 in the folder pornography? I don't know, right? 1 through 29. Okay, learn how to round. I'm not gonna round because they're not gonna do that. So this is a presentation. I don't know what it's about. I've sort of seen a beginning of it, and it's kind of real dumb because Rob Skibba, right? So here we go.
For those of you who are here to try to debunk flat Earth, and we know you're here. Those of you who came here specifically for the purpose of debunking the flat Earth. And so I want to give you 12 helpful hints on how to go about doing so.
Oh, he's gonna give his ammunition. Yeah, that thing. Bullets. He's gonna give us bullets. I should not learn how to get any rounder. Already, Gio's called me fat, so you know. Okay.
Thus, I've titled my first part of this lecture, Debunking Flat Earth 101. Now, I should warn you up front, attempting to debunk flat Earth often leads to converting you into becoming a flat earther.
No. Oh, no. Prove Antarctica is real. There you go.
So I'm giving you fair warning, especially with the first point that I'm going to present here. Point number 1, never forget We used to be you.
What? How to debunk the flat Earth? I have a pulse. It's true. We used to be you. Oh, this is one of that thing. I hate this. This. What do you even call this? I feel like this should be a fallacy all in it all of itself, which Rob just kind of said, like, hey, you know, I used to try to debunk the flat Earth, right? Like that was how I started out in my flat Earth journeys. I was trying to debunk it. I think Jeranism kind of does the same thing, and there's a few others who say the same thing, who say like, hey, this is how we started off. No, I don't think that's how we started off, right? So one of the fun things, if you haven't seen what is it, Behind the Curve or whatever, the Behind the Curve, whatever the Flat Earth documentary is, you should go see that, because one of the fun things about that documentary is it talks a whole lot about the psychology of flat earthers, or it exposes a lot of the psychology of flat earthers, which I think is very fascinating. And if you listen to some of like Jeranism's old presentations and stuff, he often talks about how he was like people like Jeranism, people like Rob Skibba, I'm sure, and others have always kind of been into the conspiracy scene, right? They've always kind of been into. They've never been skeptics, as far as I know. They were skeptically or scientifically minded. They didn't start there. They started at conspiracies. And when they say, "Oh, I was trying to debunk it," that's a bit of a lie. They always kind of were conspiracy theorists, and moved on. And I call it a lie, even though I can't genuinely prove that Rob Skibba didn't try to debunk the flat Earth. I get the feeling that he doesn't. Who's the guy who's like the main character in Beyond the Curve or Behind the Curve? What the fuck it's called? God, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who did the Flat Earth Clues. Whatever his name is, he has the exact same line of his Flat Earth Clues was him like trying to debunk the Flat Earth. Like that's how he was going to debunk it. He was going to go out there and he was going to debunk it, and then it came out to be true. No, I'm fairly certain that that's not at all how any of that went.
All right, fair warning. We all started out as skeptics. Every one of us. This is stupid. This is crazy. This is the 21st century, for crying out loud. Why are we talking about this? This was settled hundreds of years ago, right?
Again, you did not start as skeptics. God, I hate the word skeptic now. It's such a terrible word. I loved it. I used to love it. God damn it. I used to genuinely love the word skeptic, because I think skepticism is an incredible tool of being doubtful and understanding, but it's been co-opted by so many goddamn idiots. Like that's the best way for me to put it. Skepticism has been co-opted by a bunch of idiots, and it pisses me off. Flat Earth globalists, that's probably gonna get killed. It really used to be. For example, and I have it back there. I have Michael Shermer's book, or a book by Michael Shermer called Skeptic, which is a bunch of he takes all the articles that he wrote for Skeptic magazine and he puts them into a book form. It's a fantastic book that has so much great skepticism in it. But then I don't even know what year this happened. Shermer, the guy who fucking runs Skeptic magazine, can't even be a skeptic anymore. That's how much the word skeptic has lost its meaning. So, if you don't know, recently he interviewed Stephen Molyneux, whatever the fuck his name is, dude. And he tweeted about it. And he's like, "This is one of the most brilliant or most articulate podcasters ever." About Stephen Molyneux, who, if you don't know who he is, he's the white nationalist, race realist, complete another douchebag on the internet. And Shermer didn't even bother to do the most basic thing about skepticism and look up the person that he was going to talk to and talk about before he tweeted that. Right? And then people called him out and like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Shermer? The fuck is wrong with you promoting a white nationalist asshole on Twitter? And his fucking response is, I didn't look it up. You're not a fucking skeptic if you don't look it up. Like, I'm sorry, Michael Shermer. I know that this is like your thing, but you're not a skeptic if you don't bother to look shit up. You just ain't. And he's done other stupid shit like that where he just doesn't bother to look shit up. Doesn't bother to be a skeptic, and yet still tries to consider himself a skeptic anyway. And it's entirely infuriating. I really, it is a shame because I do genuinely think that skepticism is one of the most powerful tools we have. And I genuinely, like, I love that book. That book by Michael Shermer. I do absolutely love that book because he does have so much good skepticism. There's a bit, and I called him out. Not that Michael Shermer ever listens to me on Twitter because, you know, I'm me and I'm tiny and all that nonsense. He's got a great bit in that book about self-help books, right? And how they're pretty much crap. Like, he has this whole bit about how self-help books are garbage and self-help gurus don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and it's poignant and it's great and it's fantastic. And then he fucking promotes Jordan Peterson, who writes self-help books. And it's those times that I'm just like, you used to speak out against these things, Michael Shermer. You whatever, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, would have called out Jordan Peterson for being a dumbass self-help writing author. You would have been like, no, this is bullshit because self-help books are bullshit. And I have an article where you do just that, but when it comes to Jordan Peterson, you're like, you just fumble it away. We have reached hand fapping mode. It makes me so angry. And you flat earthers are no fucking better. God damn, I'm angry. You're no better with this, like, we are skeptics too. We're globe skeptics. Fucking, what's his name? Steven Crowder is also, like, I am perfectly okay with calling him a science denialist. He does the same thing where he's like, I'm a, what's it called? A climate change skeptic. I'm just skeptical of this. No, you're fucking not. That's not how skepticism works. Skepticism has two parts, and people fucking forget the second part. Skepticism is questioning things, right? Making sure that things are backed up with peer-reviewed journals, with good science, logical. You ask questions. That's what skepticism. That's the first part of skepticism, right? But there's a second part, and the second part is the part that everyone fucking forgets, which is that you accept the findings when they're there, right? Once the thing has been proven, you accept it. You can't call yourself a climate change skeptic because the science is settled on it. We know what it is. You are not a good skeptic at that point because you failed part two, which is to accept the fucking answer when it's there, not to continue to try to find ways to prove your pet theory correct. Oh, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna drink now. I'm a skeptic, just not a skeptic, TM. That is also a problem. Thank you, Callan. That is also... God, I'm gonna yell a lot today. So much yelling. It is also the problem, is the fact that skepticism has become not a commodity, not a... It's a... I want to call it like a commodity, right? Like it's a label you give yourself, right? And to sort of give yourself authority on things you know jack shit about. It's God, it's dumb. TM skeptics, I do like that. You know, trademark skeptics are somebody. There's plenty of fucking pictures of me. Somebody do the old man yells at clouds with R&D yelling. Where's Blazer? He likes to do fan art. Gosh. Oh, it's the end of me. Armored Skeptic is the fucking worst. God, he is. He is the worst skeptic. He's not a skeptic. I hate the fact that he put that in his name. I hate the fact that he calls himself a skeptic. Because, fucking damn it. I'm sorry, Flat Globalist. Someone else is going to have to put that link in there for you. Okay. Okay, we're gonna listen to more. It's okay. It's just, those are the rules. It's fine. Someone else can post the link for you. I'm sure one of the moderators can and might if they deem it appropriate. To be fair, he did pick the name. Yeah, that's true.
How many of you started out that way? Pretty much everybody, right?
No.
We all had the same indoctrination you did.
Fuck. Oh. Oh. No. It's not indoctrination. Just. Okay, breathe. We're gonna try to breathe. I'm trying not to hand fap on my desk because it's shaking everything. Because this desk, I made this desk and I know it's crappy. We're gonna try not to fuck with it. Oh goodness, what is I gonna say? God. Oh, please stop, Rob Skibba. Please stop. No. Okay, just because you were taught something you don't like does not mean it's indoctrination. I genuinely don't think you understand what indoctrination means. It's not being taught things you don't like, right? That's not what indoctrination means. It isn't. Yeah. I saw a good comment. The most indoctrination people are I can flip for baiters. Is it indoctrination? There's no doctrine. There you go. You should be. We are all skeptical of Rob Skiba's skepticism. God. Just because you don't like it, Rob, does not mean you were indoctrinated, right? People did not. People taught you, not very well apparently. Could you make an old man yells at the clouds gesture for 30 seconds? It would build it. How does that even look? Okay, just for follow-up, we're gonna just so that I can meme myself. We're gonna go over here, and so get ready to like screenshot this shit because I'm gonna do it once, and God, people are gonna don't make terrible memes out of you all are going to. We're gonna yell at clouds for like a couple of seconds. I'll try not to move my hand too much. Damn you, clouds! There we go. Do with that as you please, but don't go too crazy on me. Oh, okay. With that said, the mic's in the way. Jesus fuck, it probably is in the way. Okay, take number dose. We'll move the mic down so you all can hear me. There we go. Yelling at the clouds. Damn you, clouds! There we go. Do a thing with that. All right, let's listen to a little bit more of Skibba. Oh goodness.
We went to the same schools. We read the same books. We've seen the same movies, television shows, and documentaries. We've all been to the same museums that you've been to. There's no question that you're going to ask that we haven't already asked ourselves. So it's not likely that you're going to stump us with some amazing new piece of evidence that we haven't already thoroughly considered ourselves.
It looked like you were jerking off Jesus, probably, which is, I'm sure someone will make that. Oh, goodness gracious. No, Rob, fuck. I mean, you're right. If nothing else, Rob Skibba has it down here. You are genuinely correct, Rob. I am absolutely certain that I cannot present to you any new piece of evidence that has not already been presented to you. I can absolutely, I 100% agree with you. Because you don't fucking listen. It's that simple. You don't listen. You don't care. It's just people have done this, right? People have presented with you, and the fact that you don't listen is part of the problem, right? It's why you're not a goddamn skeptic, right? It's because you only accept the evidence that you like, and you don't accept the ones that you don't like. So I'm not actually. I agree with you. You are. Congrats. You're right.
Now, I'll just say this. Many, but not all of us, come at this from a biblical perspective. You may hear various presenters here during this conference that are and are not from that perspective. I do come from a biblical worldview, so I will present some things from that perspective, but not everybody's on the same page. So this is not a religious movement, even though many people...
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of disagree with you. And the only reason that I disagree with you, Rob Skibba, there, is because I remember a time when people were very anti-religion, the flat earthers, right? I remember a time when Jeranism was very, very anti-theistic. He very much, like, there's I don't even know if he still has him up or if he took him down, but there's definitely videos of, like, Jeranism being very, very much so against religion. Very much like, fuck Christianity, it's stupid, it's dumb, the Bible's. And he got absolutely shit on. And Jaren is a grifter, right? He's gonna say whatever he has to say to get money. And the money in Flat Earth is being biblical. That's where the money is. And so the fact that like you say it's not all from a biblical point of view, potentially, but I also see how your ilk, and I'm gonna call him ilk and be rude, only see it from that point of view because that's where the money is. It's pandering to that. All right.
People who come into this understanding quickly realize there must be a creator.
And also, that's actually I'm gonna agree with you a second time, Skibba. I actually think you're right in that regard. I don't think that there's a secular way to interpret the flat Earth. I can't imagine a secular way to interpret the flat Earth because mostly because it makes no sense scientifically. So it would require, like, if for the Earth to be flat, right? It would require something to be breaking, allowing or forcing the malfunction of the laws of physics in order for the flat Earth to be a thing. So it must have some sort of magical powers, because I can't imagine a secular way for the Earth to be flat and it to make sense. Again, the flat Earth in and of itself doesn't make sense, so, you know. But that's what I hear. Hear the applause for the creator. There was an applause for the creator there. Oh, there it is. Get louder.
Yeah, it's been an interesting side effect. You know, I was in the Army and we used to say there are no atheists in foxholes. Well, there are no atheists in a terrarium either. Somebody built this thing. Number 2.
I love how nobody laughed at your joke. Nobody laughed at your joke, and I think that's funny.
None of us belong to the Flat Earth Society. Media, please take note of that. All right, we didn't run one day and say, boy, you know, I got to join some club or cult, you know? I want to join something where everybody's going to hate me and make fun of me and call me names for the rest of my life.
So this actually, I think you're wrong. You're very wrong. There's that thing. I was talking about this earlier, the documentary, the one on Netflix, which I always forget the name. Behind the Curb, Beyond the Curb, whatever the hell it's called. Something like that, right? That's on Netflix. Go watch it if you haven't, because it's amazing. Really does talk a lot about the psychology of Flat Earth. one of the prominent themes, spoiler alerts for a flat Earth documentary, one of the big themes that sort of overlays the whole thing is the sense of community. The fact that, like, when you hear Behind the Curb, is that what the name of it is? I forget. I've seen it like a couple times and I always forget. The fact that I forgot. Like when you listen to Patricia Steer and whatever the fuck the other guy's name is, and I forget. Whenever you hear them talk, they talk a whole lot about community, finding a place of belonging, all those kind of things. You really, there is a big sense of community within the flat Earth, and I do truly believe that a lot of you do go for a lot of flat Earthness is about finding a community, and it's not atypical of you, right? Like Mark Sargent, thank you. Yes. It's not like atypical to just the flat Earth community. A lot of communities are like this. Pretty much any kind of weird community is like this, right? Is that we do seek others who we can join a community for, but it's a very interesting bit of psychology when it comes to flat Earth, is how much of it is community based, how much of it is about finding a community to be part of. And I think my sort of, and I've been asked this plenty of times before about, like, why do I think flat earthers are flat earthers? Why do I think that they choose a lifestyle that is going to get them ridiculed, that is going to get them, not really harassment. Maybe they do get harassment. Fuck if I know, right? But why do they choose this out of anything else? And I think a lot of it is belonging to a community and feeling special, right? A lot of life sucks, and you're not, a lot of life is being mundane and normal, and it kind of sucks in that way. Like, you do your 9 to 5 and you go home and it's very routine like and all that nonsense. Oh, thank you very much. Microbloganism, $10. I'm enjoying something that's in asterisks, so I should do. Thank you very much, Microbloganism, for that. $10. We will put that straight into the computer fund. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all appreciated the wonderful boobs paid by Microbloganism. If you too would like to see some boobs of yourself, there's other options too, not just boobs. Go ahead. You can also donate and super chat, and you get some boobs and whatnots. And I will also put in my own. It said dollars. I don't know why it said dollars, but it did. It might translate, but I will figure it out when I get a chance. But it did say dollars. If you so if you like to, and I will also put in the same amount myself. To help us get us closer to our goal. So thank you very much, Microbloganism, for that. What was I saying? Okay, yeah. So it's I feel like a lot of flat earthers in this, or wanting to be a flat earther, has to do with wanting to be part of a community, and wanting to have this, like, so a lot of communities, sort of, they come together by having, I want to call them secrets, but that's probably not the right word, but secrets, right? Like they have something special about them, special knowledge. And that's how you form a lot of these communities. And I think for a lot of flat earthers, it's very much the same thing, where they want to feel special. They want to feel like they have special knowledge, because normal life's boring and dumb. And I understand that. It is boring and dumb. I have a normal life. It's boring and dumb, like 90% of the time. And this is your way to feel special. So, yeah, a lot of it is you did seek out a club that you wanted to be part of. I don't think I think there's definitely a bit of a, what is it, not persecution complex with a lot of flat earthers, where you get off at being persecuted. And, you're not the only community who does this. Christians are famous for this, right? You can't have, every year we have a war on Christmas that doesn't exist. Who was it? It happened not too long ago that somebody came out and was like, it's harder to be a conservative than to be gay in the U.S. And it's got nothing to do with whether that's true or not, but it's got everything to do with the fact that people want to feel like they're the persecuted ones, like they have something special that others are trying to take away. And you're really no different, Rob. You really are doing the exact same thing, where you want to feel persecuted, and so you join the flat Earth community, knowing not necessarily a flat Earth community or society, right? But you join being a flat Earther because you get to be persecuted and you get to have special knowledge.
Yeah, where do I sign up? When we say, yeah, I believe in enclosed world cosmology or flat Earth, immediately people, oh, you must belong to the Flat Earth Society. Well, that's like, saying, hey, I'm a Christian. Oh, you must be Catholic. No. Me personally, I grew up Baptist, but there's tens of thousands of denominations to choose from. Now, if you're going to call yourself a Christian, hopefully we all agree that Yeshua, or Jesus Christ, if you prefer, is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through him.
Yeah, no, definitely a lot of Jesus-y bits here. Which is fine, I guess, but I think earlier you were like, no, not Jesus-y bits, but there's a lot of Jesus-y bits, buddy.
Regardless of your denomination, hopefully if you're calling yourself a Christian, you got that part right. But there's a lot of other things we clearly disagree on, right, within Christianity. Well, the same is true with this subject here. We don't all agree, and there are several different models to choose from. You may even hear some of those here during this conference. The one thing we do all agree on, though, is that the Earth is not a spinning ball.
So this is actually a rather interesting bit that Skibba doesn't seem to understand the problem with the way that he sees things, because so he sees as like there's all these options. The fact that there are options is not a good thing. The fact that you and other flat earthers can't actually agree on what you should on what the shape of the Earth is or any of it is actually a problem. It's not a feature of being a flat earther. It's a problem of being a flat earther. It's not a good thing. Your lack of consensus really does show the fact that you don't really have a whole lot to go by. So.
And for the most part, I would say this is a leaderless movement of independent researchers.
Now,
there are some people who want to take credit. I started this movement and blah, blah, blah. They have their own ego to work out, issues. But this is a leaderless movement. I mean, there's just people waking up all over the world just doing their own research. Therefore, you need to judge each of us on our own merits based on our own work. Don't judge me based on something Eric Dubay or Mark Sargent or Jaron Campanella or Bob Nodella or anybody else says. Likewise, don't judge them based on anything that I say, right? Judge each of us on the merits of our own work. Stop going to the Flat Earth Society and cherry-picking the most ridiculous claims they make and associating them with us as if that's what we believe. Most of us consider that website to be either controlled opposition or a joke.
I mean, sure, but you're kind of the joke yourself, buddy. We are gonna take a quick break. It's getting around that time, and I think we'll continue this stream for a little bit longer, so we'll be right back.